Need an icebreaker? How about Speed Weeks in Florida? New Smyrna Speedway starts the K&N Pro Series East season for the 5th year in a row. And that's a good thing, especially if you're Ronnie Bassett Jr., defending race winner and one of 29 drivers from across the country ready to race. There it is, gritty, new Smyrna Speedway. And you've got to have a lot of grit to race today if you're an 18-year-old making your first start, or even a two-time Peak Mexico Series champion, or a young lady from California with speed and bravado in her blood. This is the K&N Pro Series East, New Smyrna 175 to kick off the 2018 season. Dave Burns with you along with Steve Letarte and Derek Pernissiglio. And Steve, this is a half-mile track you're very familiar with.
Absolutely, Dave. This is a track I've been coming to my entire life. As a crew chief, we tested here with the Cup cars. As a fan, I've been coming to late model races at New Smyrna my whole life. It's been a great weekend. The weather's been perfect. And this racetrack is located right in the heart of Florida, only 14 miles from the big track. So when you talk about Speed Weeks, it's more than just Daytona International Speedway. It's also racing down here at New Smyrna.
It's a combination of the 2.5-mile track, this half-mile speedway. It kicked off the season last year, but the end of the season, Harrison Burton came away with the championship, Steve.
Well, Harrison did, but Todd was the favorite heading into Dover. And really, both of those names at the top are what K&N Racing is all about, both moving to the trucks in 2018.
Changes for 2018 are many. Let's go to Derek Pernissiglio.
Thanks, Dave. It's a brand new season with the NASCAR K&N Pro Series, and a brand new season means newer race procedures, like tonight's race being 175 laps, 25 laps longer than last year. There will also be stages in tonight's race. They'll stop at lap 63, they'll come in for adjustments, they'll race again until lap 125 and do the same thing. There's also the movement of the overtime line, which moved right back here, traditionally to the start-finish line, which also means unlimited attempts at a green white checkered. And one of the biggest factors in this season of racing, radial tires. No more bias plies for this division. They're on radials, and the reason NASCAR did that was so the drivers had an easier transition moving into the higher divisions.
And Dave, I think that is the biggest story without a doubt. When you look at the schedule, this track, or this series already comes to some big tracks that you run at the bigger series. New Hampshire, Iowa, Watkins Glen, Dover. So put these young drivers on those radial tires. Give them a chance to feel what they're going to feel in their higher series. That's the biggest rule change I think will affect these drivers. I'm going to be watching it all night.
This series more and more trying to mirror what the 3 national series are doing to give these drivers a chance to learn at this level. And you see some of the famous alums who've come through and gone to the highest levels of NASCAR. Now, this track has provided some excitement in the past. 2 years ago, there was an extra lap added to the race, and this is what happened during that final come to the checkers. Spencer Davis gets in the wall. Ronnie Bassett thought he had won, but with an additional lap, NASCAR had to go back to the previous lap and decide that Todd Gilliland was, in fact, the winner, crossing the line first ahead of Spencer Davis. Big win for Gilliland, huge disappointment for Ronnie Bassett.
Well, without a doubt, but these are the types of fireworks that you see at these small, short tracks that the K&N Series run.
Of course, Ronnie got his revenge the next year. He won this race last year and is the defending champion. Derek?
And Harrison Burton brings Old Faithful out of the stables. 007, the car that they call James Bond. He sits on the pole here tonight. He won the super late model race last night, and is that going to set the tone for this weekend?
Well, hopefully. You know, we got off to a good start and finished third the night before, and then capped it off with a win last night. And going into this race, I feel really confident. I got a great team behind me, and it should be a lot of fun, to say the least.
Out of all of the tracks that the NASCAR K&N Pro Series races on, you probably have more laps here than anywhere else. How much confidence does that give you to try to get the win tonight?
Well, it helps a lot. I've been racing here since I was 13 years old, and it's been a lot of fun and great races that I've had here. So hopefully I can use all that knowledge to my advantage and hopefully come out here with a W. That's what we come to do. We go to the racetrack every week with the plans to win, and it's a lot of fun to go out and try and make it happen.
Well, he's the defending champion. He sits on the pole tonight, and he's also the point leader for the World Series events that are going on here during Speed Weeks.
Well, Derek, also the son of my coworker, your coworker, Dave, Jeff Burton, who knows about winning. And as I talked to Harrison in his approach to New Smyrna, it's about trophies, both in the late model and the K&N race. As Derek mentioned, he's already got the weekend started off right. A K&N win would definitely set off the rest of the week. A lot of racing for that young man over the next week.
That's right. He won last night right here. See if he can make it 2 nights in a row. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Back at New Smyrna Speedway, engines are fired. The temperatures have cooled a little bit from the 85 degrees we had earlier today, and it's a perfect night for racing as the 29-car field gets rolling.
Well, and this is a great little short track, just barely under a half a mile, moderately banked, 18 to 20 degrees, 175 laps, 25 laps longer than what these cars are used to running here at the previous races.
Let's get back to Derek with who he's keeping an eye on.
Well, Dave, one of our Who to Watch drivers tonight is the man that's going to bring us the green. That's the Dex Imaging number 12 of Harrison Burton. He comes into this race with a lot of momentum. Like we said in the beginning of the show, he won the super late model race last night here during Speed Weeks at New Smyrna. And of all the tracks that he races at, he has more laps here than anywhere else. So he feels confident in anything he drives here. So much confidence that he thinks that he can take down the win here tonight with ease.
Well, I don't know about with ease, Derek. We'll see. I think Harrison absolutely is somebody to watch, but my guy you need to watch, Todd Gilliland, starting on the outside of the front row right next to Harrison. I think we're going to be calling those two names a lot tonight, Dave.
The champions of 2017 represented there on the front row, Steve, and here's our starting grid.
Yeah, I look at Haley Deegan down there inside row 5, that 16-year-old NASCAR next driver, daughter of Brian Deegan, the freestyle motocross racer. Be interesting to watch her. And then you look at Joe Graff outside row 7, the New Jersey native making his first start in K&N.
Abraham Calderon, we saw him at the beginning of the broadcast. Two-time Peak Mexico Series champion Cody Vanderwall on the inside of row 11 from Colorado.
Yeah, and row 13, Tyler Ankrum. Don't let that qualifying spot fool you. Very fast in practice. This 17-year-old broken engine didn't get a chance to qualify.
Green flag about to come out to start the 2018 season for the K&N Pro Series East at New Smyrna.
And you're going to see right away what makes this track so special is the ability to run the middle lane or the outside groove. As you see Harrison Burton commanding the bottom of the racetrack, that 54 has a chance to somewhat keep up running that second lane.
Cole Rouse, black 99, right behind the 54 of Gilliland, looking for a way. But you're right, Gilliland doesn't really drop down. Now he gets down to that low side in the 54.
Yeah, most tracks you would see their left front tire right on the yellow line. But here it's okay to run up a lane. Plus, look how dark the racetrack is. Already so much racing. We've heard about late model races, modified races. This track sees a tremendous amount of racing. So with even relatively new pavement, it's aged quickly.
3 wide almost there when they were all Rev Racing cars. Ryan Vargas in the 2, Ruben Garcia in the 6. And now they're side by side.
It's a perfect type track for speed, too. You're going to see a little pushing, a little shoving. That's okay. Totally acceptable on this short track.
Clean move by the 51 of Brandon Oakley. That orange car around Joe Graff in the 43. Up front, the 40 now of Anthony Alfredo looking for a way under the 99 of Cole Rouse.
You really have to ask yourself right here, how hard is Todd Gilliland going? This has been a conversation all weekend, these new radial tires. The old bias plies, you had to really be patient, Dave. You could hurt those tires, hurt your speed over the long run. Remember, these cars can't change tires over the course of the race, so I think this is Todd just being wise, backing up to his competition, saving some tire.
One set of tires. You see Alfredo looking to the inside again in that 40 car. One set of tires for the whole night and 2 race breaks on or around lap 63 and lap 125, 175 the lap distance tonight.
Yeah, and I really have those race breaks circled on my calendar. I want to see how these drivers are going to incorporate those into their race strategy. That's new this year. You can pit, you can make adjustments, but you lose those spots as the 40 gets loose on quarter exit right there. You can't change tires, but you can adjust your race car. Will that be worth coming to pit road?
Rouse holds his line on the top side, and that gives the 30 of Tyler Dipple a chance to sneak down under there, go side by side with that Camry.
Patience, Dave, patience. 175 laps on a short track. It's real early as you see out of shape. The 99 there on corner exit. Not only perhaps burning those rear tires off, but challenging the damage to those front fenders.
Well, how does a driver do that, Steve? And what is the crew chief saying to them about patience and about reserving something for the end?
Well, I think that's really one of the things that this series teaches these young drivers is that while 175 laps is short compared to a Cup or an Xfinity Series race, it's still long versus a 50 or 100 lap late model race, which is where most of these drivers were a year or two ago. So take a deep breath. On the radio as a crew chief, you need to be telling Tyler Dipple, Tyler, take a deep breath. Let those two in front of you race. Just be patient and see if they come back to you.
And that's something that Dipple has done a really good job of learning. He comes from big block modifieds, and of course the tendency there is to drive off of the right rear tire and burn it up. He's done a good job of learning how to maintain his equipment throughout the race. Now here's a good side-by-side battle between Kraus and McReynolds.
Yeah, Brandon is doing a very nice job rolling the bottom of the racetrack while Kraus is doing what you need to do, which is squeeze the entry right here. That makes it very loose getting in for the 74. The car wants to spin out. And then also pinch the 74 of McReynolds off on exit. Makes it harder to apply the throttle. And there you have it. Derek Kraus takes the position.
Rookie of the year in the West and a high school sophomore, admitted he's got big shoes to fill in that 16 car. That's the championship winning car in the West the last couple of years.
We're going to be seeing this all night, and now you see the 16. Even though he's cleared the 74 of McReynolds, doesn't go to the bottom of the racetrack. We have a caution out.
That is John Wood off of turn 2, spins the 08 out. And you see he's from Idaho. He's got several cars in the field here tonight. And Steve, this became sort of an unofficial combine race. There are some official ones later in the year, but about a third of the field is from out west.
Yeah, but this is just a great opportunity for those West drivers who have yet to have an official race to come here and get some official race competition against the East drivers, see where they stack up. Radial
tires for the first time in this series. Can't be bad to learn about them as we're under caution for the first time at New Smyrna. Back at New Smyrna Speedway, the first of 2 5-minute race breaks is over, and one driver did not pit, Steve.
Absolutely, Dave. We saw the 12 of Harrison Burton stay on the racetrack. He must feel he can make the distance on fuel. And interesting enough, now he chooses the outside lane. Lost the lead earlier on the inside. Let's see if he's a little more successful in this restart. Good through the restart zone, down through 1 and 2. Here's where the outside has shown to be an advantage. And it is once again as he accelerates off the corner.
And Cole Rouse is going to try to follow through in that 99 and take second from Gilliland. So Derek, catch us up on all those pit stops.
Well, guys, during that break, the top 5 came down for adjustments with the exception of 1. Harrison Burton, the new leader, was running at the second spot. He stayed out. He'll move up to the point. The 54 of Todd Gilliland took on fuel and a wedge adjustment. So did the number 40 of Anthony Alfredo. The number 99 of Cole Rouse took a track bar adjustment. Said the car was way too tight. They wanted to increase the roll center. The 16 of Derek Kraus also took a track bar adjustment and air pressure as well as fuel.
Derek, that's my kind of report. Some wedge adjustments, but how about a roll center adjustment? All that really means, Dave, is they raise the track bar up, trying to get the car to change directions. That's a pretty normal handling characteristic here at New Smyrna. While they get loose getting into the corner right here, as you see these cars tiptoe in side by side, they get down in the middle of the corner and they just want to go straight.
Alfredo battling the 74 of McReynolds. And McReynolds trying to just inch that car forward on the outside. Now Alfredo's going to get the advantage off of that corner. McReynolds, by the way, a deal put together sort of late in the year to get going for a few races here in 2018 with a new team. They used to race modifieds, and they're now going to work out of the Tommy Baldwin shops and put Brandon in that car for a few K&N races. I'm pretty excited about that program.
Yeah, and I spent some time with Brandon today down on pit road, and he said that he was going to try to figure out how to manage his car. And interestingly enough, he said he was going to use Todd Gilliland. He thought Todd and his father had that figured out in the last couple of years. They were the ones that took care of their equipment the best. So he was going to try to look ahead, use the radio, understand how hard Todd was going to push his car, and manage his off from the 54 of Todd Gilliland.
Ruben Garcia, the 22-year-old from Mexico City, down on the inside there in the 6 car. And Dylan Bassett, who we learned about earlier, on the outside in the 44.
And one of the more difficult things for these drivers is going to be the adjustments they make as well as adding fuel. Normally when you put fuel in a race car, you put cold, fresh tires on. This time they're still on hot, slick tires, and adding fuel, adding rear weight can really change how the cars drive.
Well, these cars drive exactly the same, it would appear. That high line working well for Bassett. Garcia holding the shorter low line all the way through.
So refreshing, though, to see 2 cars like this run side by side, lap after lap, with no damage. Look, nowhere near one another, leaving each other a full, 6 inches, maybe a foot?
And that's what the NASCAR officials, one of the things they try to preach here, Steve, is race clean, race well, and you'll do well beyond the K&N Series, maybe the Truck Series, maybe Xfinity, maybe Cup someday.
Well, and with these composite bodies, unlike a steel-bodied car, if you run into one another with the front fenders, they're not just going to dent in. They're going to break up, fall apart. It will definitely hurt your chances. And no big surprise, back at the front of the pack, the 12 of Harrison Burton continues to lead. The 54 of Todd Gilliland kind of pacing himself, running right in the tire tracks.
78 of 175 complete. We're looking for another race break around lap 125. NASCAR will put the competition caution out again. And those brakes, Steve, are as well another learning opportunity. Change the race car so it's better. Give the feedback from the driver. Help these young drivers and the teams learn how to race well.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that all the drivers came to pit road. I thought some would stay out and try to gain some of that track position, but they didn't. They all came to pit road except for Harrison, who now has the race lead.
Another good look at Cole Rouse there, running for the championship this year. Last year, had a couple of ARCA starts for Bill Venturini and was the car's Super Late Model Tour champion. So he had a good season, now working his way back up in the K&N Series.
Yeah, we see right here the 17 of Tyler Ankrum. Great recovery. Had to start at the back. Broken proud. Oh, he gets contact.
Spencer Davis gets into him, and Ankrum is going to go around. We talked about that battle with no contact, Steve. Here's one that had contact.
Yeah, Dave, we haven't even reached halfway yet.
Well, Dave, it's a disappointing situation for Tyler Ankrum. We were talking about how he had started deep in the field after blowing an engine earlier in the day and gotten up to the top 10. Well, he just had an incident out there on the track where he got run into, and now, unfortunately, he's going to have to go back to the rear of the field for drawing a caution. Just talked to crew chief Seth Smith. He shrugged his shoulders and said, "We've got a fast piece. It just looks like we're going to have to come from the back again."
I think he can do it, Steve. That car was pretty fast, but you hate to put yourself in that situation.
Well, the problem, Dave, is coming from the back is going to use your equipment up. You see right here, this is classic short track. The 17 goes in, gets on the brakes. The 82 runs right into the back of him. There's no other way to put it. The 17 up the racetrack, spins around. So you have to ask yourself, one, how damaged are these tires? Did he flat spot? They continue to roll. It looked okay. But just how much damage to the race car? Because he had to come from the back. Think of those brakes. They've worked harder than perhaps any other car in the field.
Spencer Davis in the 82, a big speed weeks for him. He'll race in a truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports this coming Friday at the big track. So trying to work his way through tonight, set himself up for that. There is Ankrum's car. He finds his way to the back of the pack again. We'll see how far he can move forward in the latter part of the race here at New Smyrna. Controls the 54 car, and he'll take the lead outright at the start-finish line. Now, what will Harrison do? How much has he used up? How much does he have left? And he's got, again, just around 40 laps to get it done.
Well, that's what he has to realize. 40 laps is a long time. Take a deep breath. These guys back here, they have no time as the 40 goes up the racetrack. Couldn't save it, contact, and into the wall they go.
Alfredo in the 40 and the 44 of Bassett. Crash just coming out of turn 4. That kind of had a long, slow process that ended in disaster for Anthony Alfredo.
It did. That's heavy contact for both cars. Will end their evening for sure.
See Dylan Bassett climbing out. He's okay. And you see Alfredo moving around as well. They're fine. We have a little discussion about how that might be avoided next time.
Yeah, I've seen discussions like that. The hands get mowing. I don't think that was a, hey, do you want to go to dinner later tonight?
See if we can take a look at how this all started. 3 wide is kind of how it got going.
And you see Ankrum up top trying to hold his position. The 40 just gets into the left rear quarter panel and continues to turn left, trying to avoid him. As he spins out, he catches the 44. And really, I think that's what the 44 is disappointed about. He feels that the 40 didn't have to push the issue, could have allowed the 17 in. Instead, you see, and as you mentioned, slow spin, but it's not slow when they turn right here. This is heavy contact into a concrete barrier.
44 of Bassett was looking at the escape route there, and it closed up in a hurry. Here's from the speed shot. It's not going to end any differently for Alfredo and Bassett. Wow, you see some good escaping back there by other drivers to get around that and avoid contact.
Well, we'll see how these two in the front row, how well they play together this time. You could definitely see that it was time to go. With 24 laps to go, these are the top 5 drivers, and you have to really think, without the opportunity to pit and change tires that really jumble up the field that you see at some of the top tier racing, those are the 5 that are going to be racing for the win, and I'm sure both Todd Gilliland and Harrison Burton know that on this restart.
Steve, I'm looking at the left side of Harrison Burton. When the good years all rubbed off the tires, it's been a contact, fun kind of night.
It is. Once again, the 54 now takes the outside lane. You see how well of a jump he gets. Easily clears the 12 of Harrison Burton into the corner and should maintain. And now Harrison has to deal with the 99.
Gilliland, Burton, Rouse, your top 3.
Harrison does a nice job rolling the bottom of the racetrack, clears Rouse, now easily takes over the 2nd position.
Good battle for 5th. On the inside, the 74, McReynolds on the outside, the 82, the orange car, that's Spencer Davis. Davis now hoping that outside will work for him. And the inside works for McReynolds here. But off of turn 2, will the 82 have the advantage back?
Yeah, and you have to have a lot of faith in the driver below you as the 82 enters the corner. As you know, he wants the outside to work, but the inside has to work well enough for the 74 that there's not contact. You just see how abrupt these corner entries are. Hard on the brake, turning down the banking. And as these two race side by side, that draws the 17 of Ankrum back into the picture.
30 laps to go. It is time to get your car up toward the front if you can. And McReynolds has to settle back in, and now he's in the hands of Ankrum, and that 17 coming back through the field after a spin.
Well, in all of these cars running in the 5th to 7th position, they know they have to go if they have a chance of catching those two leaders who have stretched out to about a 10-car length lead.
McReynolds now feeling the pressure from Ankrum. That's the 74 and the 17. A little bit of damage on Brandon's car. Rear quarter panel flapping a little bit in the breeze. Anthony Sergi in the 20. We haven't talked about him tonight. And Tyler Dipple with a good battle. Sergi, a local driver, spends a lot of time here at New Smyrna Speedway. Has only raced once in the series. That was here last year.
Yeah, a little smoke off that 20 car as well. I'm not sure if it's a fender rub or maybe a mechanical issue, but you see on corner entry right there, a little bit of a haze of the white smoke. It looks like tire smoke to me.
You know, when we spend time up front, there's stuff happening back there that we just never hear about.
Oh, well, it's a half mile full of cars. There's action everywhere.
That's what's fun about sitting in the stands. I always love that because your head's on a swivel the entire time watching all the battles. Derek is caught up with the driver who had trouble earlier. He's down with him in the pits.
Well, Anthony Alfredo was the other car involved in that accident out there with Dylan Bassett in the number 44. From your point of view, can you tell us what happened?
I haven't seen a replay yet. All I know is we went into 3 and they put me 3 wide in the middle. I tried to give him room on the bottom because I didn't want to pitch him down in the apron and him wash up and get into us. Somehow, someone still got into us and we got pitched in the middle. And I was trying to save it, and the 44 came up and got us again. Not sure if he was trying to save it or if he just didn't know I was sideways. You know, it was probably just a racing deal at that point. But that's what knocked us up the track and into the wall.
It's a break for Anthony Alfredo. The rookie is out early, but he's definitely shown that he is competitive enough to race with the NASCAR K&N Pro Series teams.
Now, Derek, you're right about that. First start for the Connecticut driver. Hopefully we'll see him back for MDM Motorsports in that car. Meanwhile, left of the screen there, Steve, that was some bumping and banging.
Yeah, I commended all these drivers earlier for giving each other space. That time has come and gone. Now the patience is gone. You only give a driver about 1 or 2 corners. If you can't complete the pass, next thing you know, a little bit of fender contact, you try to take the position away.
Behind Bassett in the 04 and Dipple in the 30, that's Cody Vanderwall in the 34. One of the West drivers that has come east to race and doing a good job. Cody last year was only going to run 4 races, ended up running the entire season. Had a good rookie season in the K&N Series.
Yeah, and as we continue to watch cars battle all around the racetrack, I'm starting to see some of those front brake rotors really glow. It's really obvious on the inside left front tire of this 30 car. As he goes down into the corner, the brake rotor glows, telling me he's pushing those brakes right to the limit.
Ronnie Bassett's not giving up in the 04. Doesn't have quite the car he had here last year when he won this race. Battling for every position he can get. Right now he wants 9th.
As they swap positions now, the 04 has the inside lanes. He goes 3 wide between 2 lap cars.
That was tight. Bassett with a position.
155 laps gone in the race, and that means there's 155 laps on these tires. This is the point of the race that we really expect to see a change out of these radials. Most of the drivers talk. The bias plies of last year, if you hurt your rear tires, they were gone. You didn't have a chance. These economy radials, the idea is that it will allow these drivers to continue to push and put on a good race for 175 laps, not forcing them to take care of their equipment so much.
Dipple, the New York driver, in the black number 30. Bassett, the North Carolina lad. Actually, he's kind of a veteran now. This is his 6th season in the K&N Pro Series, so Ronnie Bassett Jr. knows his way around this series and certainly around this track. See this happen a lot, Steve, right? A driver that you're around all night, you just can't seem to get around. Your cars are pretty much identical. Your skills much identical, and there's nowhere to go.
And this just proves that 2 equal cars on the correct racetrack can put on a great race. 2 lanes of racing here at New Smyrna, and these 2 drivers are showing both lanes off.
Not missing anything up front. It's still Gilliland, Burton, and Rouse with the laps winding down, this time by 15 to go. Using all the racetrack and all the fenders on these cars for this spot for 9th.
And that's why you just can't shake the car. If you get an advantage and you clear them, next thing you know, back inside they come.
Now it is Dippel's turn. He takes over 9th. Those brake rotors glowing on the 04 of Bassett. I'm telling you, we may have to keep our left eye open to this one while we watch the finish of the race. And trouble for Matt Levine, and that's off of turn number 2. That was right in front of the leader, Todd Gilliland. Levine now brings it to rest there. His crew chief tonight is Ron Norman. They are partners in that operation. And Levine has brought Ron on full-time now to manage their racing, mostly out in the West. They came here, Steve, like a lot of the drivers, to get used to these radial tires.
Yeah, and I think he had a decent race going, got a lot of laps. You see the tail already missing on that 10 car. And then the 54, the leader, Todd Gilliland, gets close. This is really going to get his attention. Oof. Heavy contact. I'm not sure if the 10 got out of the gas or the 54 just misjudged it, spinning the 10 around, which is not what Todd Gilliland wants. I can assure you he didn't wreck him on purpose because he doesn't want a yellow. He had a nice gap back to the 12, but as we take a look at that 54, that composite body holding on pretty well. I expected to see more damage than that.
I think it's safe to say the 54 had a great exit of the corner. The 10 had a really lousy one, and that's how it ended up. Caution on the Speedway. Laps winding down. Can Burton or anybody else catch Todd Gilliland? Cleanup complete at New Smyrna Speedway, and 7 laps remain to decide it. The double file restart, standard in NASCAR, standard in the K&N Pro Series. Gilliland to the outside of the black and red 54. Burton to the inside of the red and white 12. Behind them, the 99 of Rouse and the 16 of Kraus. 7 to go at New Smyrna. Good jump, but a good jump on the inside this time by Harrison Burton. Contact. Oh, and more contact and a big slide. They both save it. Here comes Rouse to the inside. He can't get there.
The 12 of Harrison Burton has continued to hold that low line. The 54 on the top. It looks like the 54 will have a run right here in corner exit. Will he be able to clear the 12? He will. Get back single file in the entrance to turn 3.
Burton collects his thoughts. What will he have running down to the end here? Coming by 5 to go this time.
And this is the closest we've seen third place to these 2 leaders. Both Todd Gilliland and Harrison Burton, they have led every lap tonight.
How much do they have in reserve? They were both champions last year. Burton in the East, Gilliland in the West. Gilliland won 10 times overall in the K&N Series. Burton won 5 times. And it's coming down to these 2 again. Here's Harrison to the inside.
Gilliland wisely leaves them the bottom lane. He has to give him room to race or there will be contact. Once again, Harrison tries to attack the bottom of the racetrack.
Todd knows he's there, takes the wide outside line, clears him at the stripe.
That was aggressive. Todd Gilliland kind of took the corner from the 12 of Harrison Burton, took the low lane. When will the 54 go on defense? Does he have enough car to stay on offense, run his lane, and try to just pull away from the 12? That lap car definitely hurt the corner exit for the 54.
Not much left for tires, not much left for determination now. Let's see if Burton has it over Gilliland. This is the battle for 5th still raging between the 82 of Spencer Davis and the 17 of Tyler Ankrum.
Ankrum, nice recovery starting in the back at the beginning of the race and spinning out earlier. As we go back to the leader, though, Harrison Burton continues to chase the 54 of Gilliland.
2 to go. Low line, high line, a little wiggle by Gilliland there. Does Burton have a chance? Gilliland tries to block. Burton gets into him, contact, and now Harrison Burton goes to the inside.
The 54 chose the block. Harrison had no choice, made contact with the 54, but can't complete the pass. Is the 54 close enough to return the favor?
I think so. A little bit of contact there. Todd Gilliland down to the inside. Final lap of the race. Here they come into turn 3. Gilliland and Burton. Don't count out Cole Rouse in that 99. To the flag. It's going to be Gilliland winning at New Smyrna. What a finish, Steve.
Unbelievable. Two drivers beating, banging, pushing on each other, but still getting their cars to the finish. Harrison, unfortunately, losing second, ends up third. Rouse doing a nice job of being there when the opportunity presented itself. But how about the 54 of Todd Gilliland, making a mistake, getting past, but finding a way on the white flag lap to get back in front, take the win.
That was a show. And I bet Todd's got another one planned for the fans right here.
Here's another look. You see the 54 just didn't get a good corner exit. Got loose. The 12 gives him a little shot. Goes underneath him. Just what you would expect for short track racing. But Todd does a nice job gathering it back in, getting back to the rear bumper of Harrison. Gives him barely a touch. I'm not even sure there was contact or if Harrison just overdrove the corner, opening the bottom. And then 3 and 4. A wonderful set of corners for Todd Gilliland, taking the victory.
And Cole Rouse, watching all that in the 99, blasted through to take second. We'll be back to New Smyrna Speedway to talk to what I'm sure is a very excited winner. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Smell of victory with the fans right there for Todd Gilliland, and what a good show they saw tonight. Battles in the back, battles in the middle, and up front, a lot of contact to get to the checkers. There he is in victory lane. A little sweat on the brow, I would imagine. It's in the mid-70s here, and Todd worked hard to get that win tonight. Let's go down to Derek, who's standing there for the celebration.
Todd Gilliland picks up his second career win here at the New Smyrna Speedway. Quite a battle with you and Harrison Burton. Tell us about it, because you guys were back and forth.
One thing about me, I will do whatever it takes to get this race car in victory lane. I can't thank Frontline Enterprises, Toyota, TRD. My whole truck team's here. Marcus Richmond, the crew chief for this year. So it's a great way to start the year. We're going to keep this momentum going. You know, that was just all I had to do to get the win, and that's all we care about.
When you went down into the corner, did you know by rubbing him a little bit was going to move him so you can make the pass?
I was hoping so. I was doing everything I could. He drove into my side 8 times, so it was hard racing for the lead. I think it was back and forth just as much as one person or the other. So that's 2 guys going for the win, really hungry, and you know, just trying to learn as much as I can every race.
That's 2 wins here at New Smyrna Speedway for Todd Gilliland. He picks up the win here tonight.
It drove a wonderful race. As he mentioned, there was contact between the leaders, but all well intended. That's what it takes to go to victory lane on a short track.
Take a look at the final results. Ankrum all the way back up to 5th. What a drive for him. Battling Spencer Davis, Anthony Sergi with contact on that 20, but a good run for him in the top 10.
Yeah, Brandon McReynolds had a good run, but faded late, ended up 10th.
See some of the drivers on through this field of 29 here tonight. Few cautions on the evening, but a lot of good racing. Fans surely enjoyed what they saw here.
Well, and a big field, too. You know, Dave, you mentioned the West Coast guys came out here to race with them. 29 cars. It's a big field for the K&N Series.
Derek is with second place, Cole Rouse.
Well, Cole Rouse was able to sneak by Harrison Burton to pick up the second spot tonight, and it was a real fun run out there. And what have you learned from running 2 years ago to now?
I've learned a lot. Just being with KBM last year taught me a lot. But tonight, I was pretty close to getting to him. Like I said, if I was close enough, I probably would have drove into the corner and door slammed him. So I wasn't close enough to do that. So and then maybe next time we will. But maybe next time we'll be a little faster. The guys did a great job. We struggled a little bit at the beginning of practice, but we got it definitely better at the end. So the number 99 Napa Filters Toyota was pretty good tonight, just not good enough.
How hard is it to put yourself in a position like that where you're watching the 2 leaders battle where you could possibly sneak on by for the win?
That made me drive a little harder. It might have hurt me a little bit just because I was driving it a little too hard. It was shoving the nose. If I would have calmed down and backed off a little bit, I feel like I could have got to him at the end. They were racing pretty hard. So, yeah, I'm really proud of my guys and our effort tonight. We'll just get them next time.
Well, it's a nice big welcome to Cole Rouse back to the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. He comes home with a runner-up finish.
Well, Derek, I like a driver that's already learning. He mentioned there he had to back down to go faster. That's very hard for a driver to learn.
See how the points shake out right now. Some of these drivers will not be in the series full time, so this will change a little bit over the course of the early season run. Back to Derek.
Well, Harrison Burton comes home in the third spot with a thrilling battle between he and Todd Gilliland as they went back and forth in the final lap. You guys were battling it out, but Dad just came over to give you a little bit of advice. What did he say to you?
You know that there's always things to learn from every scenario, and that he's proud of the effort I put out. It's probably going to be the best race to watch all year. So that was a lot of fun, and glad to have had a shot at it. I wish I wouldn't have. I made a mistake and got free on entry in that last time and ran him way up the hill. I wish it wouldn't have turned out that way, but that's part of it. Everyone makes mistakes, and we're on to the next one. We all came out in one piece, so that's part of it.
Does this give you more momentum as you go into more divisions later this year, ARCA, trucks, and such?
No, because I didn't win. That's what I come to do every race, is come out and win. And when that doesn't happen, I look at myself, see how I can get better and improve on that. So not any momentum, but definitely learning that I can move on to that.
Oh, it's a podium finish for your defending champion.
A podium finish, Dave, and I'm going to tell you, Gilliland, Burton, keep those two names in mind because we're going to see them racing each other for years to come.
Next broadcast will be the West Series opener Tuesday, March 20th, 11 Eastern on NBCSN. You won't want to miss it after what you've seen here tonight. What a fun evening. The opener at New Smyrna Beach for the K&N Pro Series East. It started with Harrison Burton on the pole. He had a big night out there, Steve, but Gilliland was the better.
What a race, though. I think Harrison said it best. This perhaps is going to be the best race you've seen start to finish, beating, banging, passing. Spectacular show.
But we still like to top it, so tune in next time on NBCSN for the K&N Pro Series. For Steve and Derek, I'm Dave saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.